Представьте себе класс. 1963 год. Мальчик стоит в углу, а на его голове высокий бумажный колпак с буквой «Д». Учитель продолжает урок, будто его и нет. Сегодня за такое можно попасть под суд, но в 1960-х это было в порядке вещей. Вот 25 вещей, которые были совершенно нормальными в британских школах 1960-х, но сейчас за них вам грозит серьезное юридическое наказание. Вы мечтательно смотрите в окно. И тут тяжелый деревянный ластик летит через весь класс и попадает точно в плечо. Класс замирает. Учитель не извиняется, не проверяет, все ли с вами в порядке. Просто берет новый кусок мела и продолжает урок. Это было предупреждение. Не отвлекайтесь, иначе следующее попадание будет сильнее. Учителя умели попадать в цель с 20 футов. Ластики, мел, иногда деревянная линейка, кружащиеся в воздухе. Сегодня за бросок предметов ученика учитель будет немедленно отстранен и ему предъявят обвинение. Боль от удара палкой была острее и жгучее. Пальцы немели, а потом боль возвращалась еще сильнее. Но вы не плакали. Плач только ухудшал ситуацию. Это была розга, длинная, гибкая, из ротангового бамбука, которые били по рукам или по спине. Могли отшлепать за разговоры, за ошибки в правописании, за забытую домашнюю работу. 6 ударов были нормой. В 1972 году 10,000 школьников прошли маршем по Лондону, требуя прекратить это. Но понадобилось еще 14 лет, чтобы запретить розги в государственных школах. В частных школах это продолжалось до 1998 года. Сегодня удары по ребенку в школе считаются уголовным преступлением. Скрип резиновой подошвы раздавался громко. Иногда по голой коже, чаще по брюкам или юбке. Но в любом случае звук был резким, а боль длительной. Тапок, так называли это наказание. Префектам в пансионах часто разрешалось наказывать младших учеников таким образом. Девочек чаще наказывали тапком, чем розгами. Иногда это происходило на глазах у всего класса. Красные следы оставались на коже на несколько дней. Сегодня ударить ребенка обувью – это нападение. Учителя, которые сделали бы это сегодня, столкнулись бы с уголовными обвинениями. Левая рука тянется за карандашом. Линейка резко опускается на костяшки пальцев. Учитель кладет карандаш в правую руку. Пиши правильно или страдай. Леворукость считалась чем-то неправильным, требующим исправления.
Imagine a time when teachers tied students' left hands behind their backs, strapped them to chairs, and snapped rulers across their knuckles if they dared use the wrong hand. Back then, many genuinely believed left-handedness was linked to the devil. Some kids adapted, while others were left with lifelong handwriting issues from the stress of suppressing their natural instincts. Fast forward to today, and forcing a child to switch hands is a clear violation of their human rights, protected under the Children Act 1989 and the Equality Act 2010. Then there was the infamous Nitty Nora, the knit nurse who could appear at any moment. Kids lined up in the hallway, one by one, as she gripped their heads and dragged a fine-toothed comb through their hair with alarming speed. If she found anything, everyone knew. Health checks weren't much better. Height and weight measured in the school hall, in your underwear, with no privacy. Modern laws now protect medical privacy, making such public inspections illegal, and the knit nurse disappeared from British schools by the early 1990s. In science classes, bare hands danced across benches, rolling silver beads of mercury like marbles. No gloves, no warnings. The kids loved it, captivated by the way the metal split and moved like something alive. Teachers allowed them to touch, hold, and play with it. When thermometers broke, and they often did, children chased the little silver beads with their fingers. Today, we know mercury is dangerously toxic, damaging the nervous system and affecting brain development. A single spill now demands a hazmat team, but in the 1960s, no one thought twice. Outside, glass bottles filled with a third of a pint of milk sat in crates. By mid-morning break, they were either frozen solid or warm and sour from baking in the sun. And you had to drink it, all of it. No excuses. Teachers stood over you until the bottle was empty, insisting, "Milk is good for you, child. You will drink it all." Nowadays, forcing a child to eat or drink against their will violates their bodily autonomy. Margaret Thatcher ended free school milk for children over 7 in 1971. Before that, every child had no choice. In the 1960s, asbestos was everywhere in schools: ceiling tiles, floor tiles, pipe insulation. Teachers pinned children's artwork directly onto asbestos boards, releasing fibers with every pin. When ceiling tiles fell, children were told to pick them up. Today, we know better. Between 1945 and 1975, over 14,000 schools sprang up, their walls laced with a hidden danger: asbestos. Fast forward to today, and since 1980, at least 1,400 teachers and a staggering 12,600 former students have lost their lives to asbestos-related illnesses. Professor Julian Patto warns us that annually, between 200 and 300 adults who went to school in the 1960s fall victim to this silent killer. Picture the schoolyards of the past: vast piles of coal and coke in the corners, where kids clambered, tossed chunks, and reveled in a cloud of black dust. It coated everything: hands, clothes, lungs. This coal dust, a harbinger of chronic lung disease, infiltrated young lungs and lingered. Today, we'd never dream of exposing kids to such hazards. Metal slides sizzled in the summer sun, searing legs, while the witch's hat spun wildly, sending kids flying onto hard concrete. Sky-high climbing frames dared children with no nets below, just unforgiving ground. Roundabouts whirled until stomachs couldn't take it, all set on solid concrete. Modern playgrounds? They're cushioned, checked, and confined by strict safety rules. Back then, you either played tough or paid the price. Fire drills? Non-existent. You lined up, trotted outside, stood in line, and shuffled back in. No evacuation plans, no assembly points, no roll call. Many of those old school buildings were fire traps, with narrow staircases, wooden floors, single exits, and locked doors. Today, stringent fire safety laws demand proper alarms and evacuation plans, or schools face closure. But in the 1960s, a handbell was the only warning you'd get. Smoke thickened the air inside staff rooms, cigarettes smoldering in ashtrays. Open a door, and that haze drifted through corridors, into classrooms, into young lungs. Teachers smoked incessantly, snatching puffs between and during lessons when they thought they could. The 2007 smoking ban changed everything, making indoor smoking a crime. But for decades, children inhaled smoke daily at school, and no one batted an eye. And lunch hour. A stroll to the pub. Teachers would return after a pint, or two, back to their classrooms, the scent of beer trailing them. Today, any teacher caught drinking during school hours faces immediate suspension. How times have changed. Imagine a time when looking after children under the influence was just another day at work. No one batted an eye. Fast forward to today, where a new teacher starts on Monday, proudly displaying his clean criminal record check, a must-have for anyone stepping into a classroom. Back then, these checks didn't even exist. Before the disclosure and barring service was established in 2012, getting a teaching job was as easy as having a quick chat or presenting a reference letter that rarely saw scrutiny. Gut feelings were the hiring standard, leaving an entire generation taught by unchecked individuals. Picture this: you're chatting in class, the teacher strides over, and suddenly, the heavy wooden board rubber is rubbed hard across your face. Chalk dust chokes your senses, your eyes water, and as you struggle to breathe, the class erupts in laughter. Today, such an act would land a teacher behind bars, charged with assault. Remember when schools dictated futures based on gender? Boys funneled into metalwork and woodwork, while girls learned domestic science, cooking, cleaning, sewing. No one questioned it. A girl aspiring to carpentry? Not a chance. The Equality Act of 2010 changed all that, making it illegal to bar students from subjects based on sex. But in the 1960s, no one saw the injustice. At age 11, you faced a 3-hour exam that determined your future. Pass, and it was off to grammar school. Fail, and you were destined for secondary modern, with no way up. Clever kids who read slowly or had an off day were left behind. Some grammar schools remain, but the old system is now viewed as deeply unfair. Today schools assess students over years, not just a single morning. And what about PE? No fancy kits, just your vest and pants, right there in the school hall, in front of everyone. The BBC's radio program guided you to sway like trees, stretch like stars, all in your underwear while teachers watched. Nowadays, proper PE kits are mandatory, and even a hint of children exercising in their undies would trigger immediate safeguarding actions. Times have changed, and so have we. Imagine lacing up your vest and pants, ready to tackle 3 grueling miles through a muddy, rain-soaked course, with nothing more than a pair of plimsolls to protect your feet. Asthmatic kids gasped for air with every step, while others, battling unknown health issues, simply couldn't keep going. Hypothermia loomed over everyone, yet quitting wasn't an option. Finishing was the only way to avoid detention. Fast forward